Scott's 2022 outfield rankings are live. Let's talk about them next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. As always, make sure to follow and stream us on Spotify. Today is Thursday, November 4th. I am Frank Stanfield, joined by Scott White, and let's take a look at the top 5 ranks. Fernando Tatis is up at the top. Then we have Juan Soto, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, and Mookie Betts. You'll notice Ronald Acuña is not on this list. We'll talk about him in just a little bit. But Scott, Mike Trout, where are we at? He had a calf strain this year. He was supposed to miss 6 to 8 weeks. He wound up missing the entirety of the season. Had some weird, random stuff with the strikeout rate, ground ball rate. Where are you on Mike Trout?
Well, I still have him slotted here to be a late first rounder. I don't know that he's going to go in the first round of every draft, but I think that's being a little unfair. I mean, he's obviously will have had plenty of time to recover from this calf strain. It's not the sort of thing that needs a surgical intervention or anything. So I expect it to be a non-issue heading into next season. And while Trout doesn't run anymore, and that keeps him out of, the number one overall discussion in a 5x5 league, never with any of his other injuries that we've seen in recent history have we said, okay, he's not worth drafting in the first round anymore. It's just with this calf thing. That's the first time it's come up that people have said, hey, maybe he's not worth drafting in the first round anymore. And I think that's putting a little too much emphasis on that injury. He's still the best hitter in the game, in my opinion, when he's able to take the field. So late first round seems right to me.
All right, 6 through 10 at the position. We have Kyle Tucker, then Ronald Acuña, Luis Robert, Cedric Mullins, and Starling Marte. Ronald Acuña tore his ACL back on July 10th, and normally for athletes, recovery timeline 9 to 10 months. There was a video that surfaced during the World Series where Alex Bregman was talking to Ronald Acuña. He asked, how are you doing with rehab? When do you expect to return? Ronald Acuña said May. And as a result of this, Scott, you are a little bit more nervous about Acuña.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I had him ranked second among outfielders behind only Tatis, second overall pick. My thinking was, okay, he recovers from this torn ACL. He's ready to go in spring training. We get the assurance of seeing him play and play well, and we're able to kind of just put the knee injury behind us. It's going to be a non-issue once we see him on the field. But if he's aiming for May, the guy himself who's more motivated than anyone to come back as early as possible, if he's only aiming for May, I presume we're not going to see Acuña at all in spring training. And if we don't get that visual confirmation that he's okay, it always leaves open the possibility of a setback. We saw so many players' timetables get moved back this past year that makes me gun shy. I mean, even coming back in May, you're talking about missing a sixth of the season. Setback pushes it into June or even July. It's going to be hard to invest a first round pick in that. So I'm moving him more to the second round range.
Just behind Ronald Acuña, you have Luis Robert and Scotty. I am excited about Luis Robert. All aboard the hype train. He hit .338 with 13 homers and 6 steals in 68 games this past season, and just made tremendous jumps in his skills. He lowers the strikeout rate. The line drive rate goes way up. He's 24 years old. It seems like everything is there for him. He just needs to now do it over the course of a full season.
Yeah. I mean, the improvement of strikeout rate, from year 1 to year 2, I don't think I ever imagined Luis Robert striking out as infrequently as he did this past year. And it really changes my perspective of all he could be. I think there's clearly top 5 potential here now because we know the power is big. We know he can run. If you're talking, he's not going to hit .338 again, but if you're talking a .290 potential outcome for the batting average, that's somebody to get excited about in round 2 for sure.
All right, let's move on to 11 through 15 here, and that is Whit Merrifield, Aaron Judge, Yordan Alvarez, Teoscar Hernandez, and George Springer. Springer was great this year when he played. The problem, he only played 78 games. Like Mike Trout, he deals with a lot of just nagging injuries that add up over time. Why did you wind up ranking Springer behind names like Judge and Yordan Alvarez here, Scotty?
Well, it's a really close group of players that I think have a similar outcome. George Springer's injury risk feels the greatest among them. And Aaron Judge has made some improvements as a hitter that I think maybe gives him the most upside of this group. So that's why he's number one of them. Springer bringing up the rear here, but they're all comparable. And in fact, in terms of head-to-head points per game, Springer was actually the best of them this past year. His 3.64 points per game were better than even Kyle Tucker's. Now, obviously, 5x5 context, you want the steals that Springer's not giving you, but still, that goes to show you he's still a second-round caliber bat if he is able to take the field.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, your smart speakers, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. If you enjoyed the pod, please leave a 5-star review on Apple. We'll be back again on Tuesday morning. Bye-bye.